All right, welcome to the call, Model Monday. Tonight, we're going to be talking about how to get published in magazines. So, everybody knows a part of modeling, besides fashion shows and just doing photo shoots and building a portfolio, getting signed to an agency, of course, being on a magazine, especially on the cover of a magazine, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. It gives you bragging rights. It adds to your resume. It gives you credibility as a model, even as a photographer, designer, makeup artist, anybody who's involved with that project. You get a step up. You get a notch under your belt and some bragging rights for social media, of course. But a lot of models, a lot of photographers, anybody, like I said, that's involved, maybe you want to get paid for your work as well. And being published in magazines may not always be the case for you to get paid to do so. But like I said, building up that resume and showing that credibility, edifying yourself as a professional, and having those examples of your work, quality images that is being published, that is going to add to the possibilities of you being able to earn and get paid for modeling or photography, et cetera, in general. So tonight we'll be having photographers on the call. We'll be having models and anyone who's interested in getting published. We're going to go over exactly the steps on how to do so and the things you need to know to do and not do. All right. So if you're on this call, I always like to start a little bit of conversation to see who's in the room, what your experience level is. If this is your first time joining, my name is Christopher Pollard. I'm a photographer in Sacramento, California. Each and every week, I do a live free model training class, the mouthful, on Zoom, and just go over the steps of what you need to do to get your career to the next level or really just get started. Some people join us from day one, just trying to figure it out. And some of you maybe you've been modeling for maybe a few years and you're just looking for ways to improve, right? So if you're here with us tonight, I would like for you to comment in the chat box. Where are you from and how long have you been modeling? Where are you from? How long have you been modeling? Are you in Sacramento? Are you on the East Coast? Are you somewhere down south? A lot of people have been joining from different parts of the country lately, so it's been exciting to see that. I know last week we had Atlanta. We've had some people from Arizona come in, Texas, SoCal, LA. So where are you? Where are y'all from? And how long have you been modeling? What's your experience so far? Let me check the chat box here. All right. So yeah, there we go. We got Brittany Moore from Atlanta back again in the building. Appreciate you. Um, yeah, we've been expanding. We've been expanding, and it's exciting to see that grow and grow and grow. Okay, we got Anna from Michigan, but currently in Sacramento. Yeah, I remember you. I think pretty sure you were here last week as well. So if you've been following along, we are in week 5 of the Get Signed Challenge. We've gone over a lot of information specifically about how to create your model pathway, all the way down to applying to agencies and the requirements that agencies want from you so that you can get the interview, get signed, and start getting paid gigs. All right. So today, it's all about publication. What does that have to do with getting signed? Could have everything to do with it, could have nothing to do with it, right? So, again, the main reason anyone would want to get published is for that credibility, is for the exposure, is for that to be looked at with a certain level of professionalism, right? So, if you are getting published in magazines and you're doing editorial work and high fashion images and you're getting printed and publications, then as you're submitting, the agencies that are reviewing your portfolio, reviewing your social media, seeing what your current level of experience is, how well you pose, your facial expressions, the type of people that you work with, the quality of your images, those things will be looked at and considered for someone that they want to sign, right? So it doesn't directly say, hey, I got published in this magazine, I'm going to get signed now. It doesn't work that way, right? But it's always going to help and edify you as a model. All right. So let's go ahead and move forward on this. I believe all of you should be able to see my screen. I shared my screen. I have a presentation. Let me pin myself here at the top. There we go. All right. So Model Monday class, Studio 713, that image there. If you're not familiar yet, that's the cover of my Modeling Secrets ebook, which is currently available for pre-sale. Going to be dropping the full version of that very soon, putting some final touches on that. So if you don't have it yet, go ahead and get a copy. And let's go ahead and get this started, all right? And at any time throughout this presentation, if you have questions, you want me to slow down, speed up, repeat something, go ahead and let me know. Drop that in the chat box as well. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here. Go to this next slide. Also, prepare to take some notes. Have a pen and paper ready, because or just be screenshot ready. If you're more of a screenshotter, write it down later because you want to keep listening and be engaged. Do that as well. So I got definitely some information that you're going to want to keep with you at all times. All right, so first slide, how to get published. That's what we're here to do. Now, do you get paid? Or do you just trade? Are you working with photographers? Are you working with designers? Are you just collaborating and trading services, TFP, for the end result of being published in a magazine, possibly? Or is the magazine paying you? Are you paying the magazine? Like, who's paying who? Is the photographer going to pay you? Are you paying the photographer? How does that all work? We're going to talk about that as well. So pay or trade. As we go through the presentation today, you're going to learn which one is most likely going to happen continuously over and over. Okay. So the requirements for getting published in a magazine, depending on the magazine, will depend on the type of requirements you have, but we're going to talk about some basics and things, foundational things that you should know about getting published. Okay. So first thing you're going to need to do is create a mood board. What's going to be the look? What's going to be the style of that shoot? What type of images are we going to create? When we think about magazine images, we don't think about regular, right? We want something special. We want something unique. We want something that's going to catch eyes, right? We want to capture the attention and the eyes of not only the editor, but anyone who's looking at or in that magazine at our images to help us stand out, right? So we're going to create a mood board. If you're not familiar with that, a mood board is a type of presentation or collage, right? So we're going to talk more about that there in a second. You need to have a team, right? So you probably gathered already. I'm mentioning all these different people that may be involved with that project. You need to have a team. You're going to want a professional makeup artist, someone who's skilled and can provide you with quality looks on your face, or maybe even on your skin, depending on the style or the mood that you're going for, right? You're going to want a fashion designer. Some magazines will require that you have a fashion designer to submit to their magazine, or they won't even entertain the image, right? Not all of them, but some, right? Or a stylist. A stylist outside of fashion design, they may go to different places and kind of just pick up items here and there and just throw it together and put together a whole look for you based on different pieces that they have in their wardrobe. They didn't design it, they just went out, they bought it, or maybe they kind of sewed some things together, which it kind of sounds like design, but they're not a designer, they're more of stylists. So that may be something you need to have as a requirement per the magazine that's asking you for your photos. A hairstylist, like, not mandatory, but highly suggested. You want to have the whole look from head to toe, right? You want to have the hair on point, makeup on point, outfit on point, and everything is creative and unique, right? So knowing all of these things ahead of time, bringing these people together, of course, the photographer, you, you can't be in the magazine without taking pictures. Professional photographer, all these things, having all that come together, it's really going to feel and look like a quality image when you have so many people in their lane doing what they are best at that is beyond your skill set. So don't feel like you have to do it all yourself. I got to do my own makeup. Should I do my own hair? Should I put my own outfit together? I bought something on Fashion Nova. No, you want to go and find people that are experts in their lane, show them the mood board, or maybe they're presenting the mood board to you, vice versa. But each person specialized in their field come together to create the images for specifically publication. All right. So you have to have a team. You don't want to do it alone. Even though I'm not gonna say it's impossible, but come on, you want to be the model in this scenario, right? You want to just play your role, show up, put on the outfit, get done up, and execute the images per the theme, the concept that you're trying to shoot, right? You don't want to do it all yourself. And again, some magazines will require that you have these people involved before you can submit. All right. Another thing, as a just kind of piggyback off that last statement, you may need to have multiple looks. Multiple looks means you won't need just one outfit. You might need 2, 3, 4 different outfits in order to submit to these magazines. If you heard the term lookbook before, or you want to have a spread across the magazine, multiple pages, then they don't want to post the same image over and over and over, or different variations of the same image. They want to have multiple looks, multiple outfits. You might have to change your makeup, you might have to flip the hair around, do something different, put a different wig on. The set changes, the lighting changes, the background changes. You want to have multiple looks that look different from the other, not like all I did was change my clothes and we're right back, the same background, same hairstyle, same makeup. When they say multiple looks, you want to change the entire look, right? So some magazines will require this, up to 8 looks. So when you're doing your research on these magazines and you're wanting to submit your work, you're wanting to become a part of their blog or one of their articles, really look into how many looks are required for you to put together. And that's going to change the conversation that you have with your team and your mood board, right? So this could be an all-day project. When an actual shoot date starts, if you have to have 8 looks by the end of that day, be prepared for a long day of outfits, makeup changes, hairstyles. Everything is going to be crazy, right? But at the end of the day, I think it'll be worth it. And I think it'll be fun. And it's something definitely that's going to be a part of your modeling career and your portfolio for the long haul, right? So when you submit your images, they will require at the minimum one, of course, at least one image, up to 16 images sent to that editorial, to that magazine, to be published. So now looking at the body of work that needs to be produced, and maybe you don't do this all in one day. Maybe it takes you 2 or 3 days to bring it all together, but it should be the same team, same hairstylist, makeup artist, designer, etc., coming back together for the next day to create 2 more looks or 1 more look or whatever the case may be, depending on your schedules, right? If you have to have 16 images with 8 different looks, that's 4 images per look. They got to be solid. They got to be strong. They got to be uniquely different. You can't have one image looking at the camera, same image looking to the side, another image looking down. No, they want completely different poses that don't look too similar to each other. And I'll show you some examples of that here in a moment too. So hopefully guys, hopefully you got this down so far. and you're taking some notes, you already got your thinking cap on, like, wow, this is going to be a lot of work. And maybe it is, and maybe it won't be. I'm just giving you the full spectrum so you know what to expect when you start stepping into this world of publication. All right. So, oh, there's another thing there is most will accept 1 to 4 looks. Okay. Let's move forward. Now, oops, let me go back. Uh, creating a mood board. Creating a mood board, you can do this on Pinterest. Of course, is probably the most common way of creating a mood board. It would be through Pinterest, saving images and putting them all on one board. You can name your board and create all the looks that you want for this publication into that board. And you can share a link or invitation to specifically that board. So everyone that's involved with the project and everyone that's involved with that shoot can all collectively be on the same page, right? You can also do this through Google Drive if you want to just screenshot or save, download images that you've seen online in different places, Instagram, Facebook, Google search. That's okay too. Save those images, upload them to a Google Drive, share that link with everybody, make sure everyone's on the same page. You do not want to show up the day of the shoot and just make it up as you go along, right? You don't want to do that. Sometimes it can happen. Like, what are we doing again? What's the look? What color makeup should I do? Like, there shouldn't be a lot of question asking during the time of the shoot. And I really want to put emphasis on that because it's a real situation that can occur. I've done this. I've been doing photography 15 years now. I've done projects. I've collaborated with others, and sometimes you just, not that it's unprepared, you just don't think ahead enough in those types of details. You don't want to get to your photo shoot and the makeup artist is like, do you want this look or that look? Should I do this or should I do that? Should I do a red lip or should I do a green lip? Should I do a nude lip? What shoes should I be having on? Like, all these types of conversations happen. And sometimes it's, sometimes when you're there and you're actually putting it together, day of inspiration, things happen, and you might have to change the look. You might have to work with it. Maybe something didn't come together. Someone didn't show up. Whatever the case may be, you do have to be flexible, right? But be prepared as possible. That's the purpose of the mood board, making sure everyone's on the same page and you're doing everything you need to do to execute. All right. You'll also see on this mood board, um, the smaller one to the right here, is they have not just the look of the model, but they have looks of the outfit specifically. They have textures and they have colors, right? So some of these images can look completely different from the other, but the mood board just gives an overall feeling, right? It doesn't mean you're creating images that look exactly like the mood board. It's just that the mood of the shoot, it gives the vibe and the tone, so that everybody can execute in their best when they're creating that day. All right. So here's some more examples of the publications that I've shot. This is Nairi and JT. I shot this maybe about a year and a half ago. And we didn't make the cover. That's okay. But we did make the table of contents. I believe it was like page 1. And somewhere there in the middle of the magazine, those are the tear sheets, right? So let's talk about tear sheets. First of all, when you submit to magazines, for the most part, it's free, right? Once you create the images, once you create the final product and you're going now through the submission process, you don't have to pay, right? So in the beginning, it said pay or trade. In that scenario, the makeup artist, the photographer, the designer, the model, 9 times out of 10, everybody's working together for free. Everybody's coming together because they want to create, right? They want the result. They want to see their work represented in a publication, right? So no one's getting paid there. The magazine is not necessarily getting paid, but sometimes they do. Sometimes they require a fee. And we'll talk more about that as well. So you can submit your photos for free. Everyone who worked together on that project, they may have expenses of buying the clothes or the makeup or, the hair product and then putting it all together. Everybody's putting in what they need to put in to make it happen. And there may be some conversation where one of all of you, or maybe you're splitting the cost of the photo shoot. Like, hey, we gotta do 8 different looks. That means we need 4 outfits. We gotta do this. We gotta do that. We gotta find these props, all these things, depending on how elaborate you want to go. Maybe the conversation between you and your team turns into, this is what the shoot is going to cost us if we do these looks. Who is willing, or how much are you willing to put into this photo shoot to make it happen? So, that is a team thing that that conversation may or may not occur. I just want to give you a heads up that going into this, you'll be working together, most likely as a trade situation. So no one's getting paid. It's all free work. Or there may be some fees or some costs, expenses that occur to you, because of just the nature of the shoot, right? So many publications will ask you to pay them, and they'll sell you discounted copies of their magazine or tear sheets. So what I mean by that is, and I'll show you more detailed here in a moment as well, the magazine sometimes will require a fee to submit. And it could be as little as $10, maybe 5, depending on the magazine, the quality, the exclusiveness of the magazine, all the way up to, I've seen $300+ to submit to the magazine. And why is that? Well, maybe the magazine, they're a big magazine, they're a big name, they have credibility, they have a certain stature, right? And by you being on the cover of that magazine or somewhere involved in the middle of that, it shows, like, it's like, wow, you've been in this magazine. That shows quality of work and skill, right? So maybe it's worth it for you and your team to pay this magazine to get published for those bragging rights, and nobody else has to know that you paid for that. Sometimes it's just a game, right? But even if you do pay, they don't just accept everyone. When you submit and it requires a payment, they will review the work. If they like it, they keep the money, they publish you. If they don't like it, they send you the photos back, they send you the money back. Like, hey, you know what? That doesn't meet our standards, and you get your money right back, right? So you still have to have quality work. You still have to have some skill. You still have to have, um, you know, uh, just nice images that meet their standards of the magazine. Right. So what is a tear sheet? A tear sheet is basically a cut, or it's cut or torn a page from the magazine, like just somewhere in the middle where you can actually tear it out of the magazine and just have that like in a frame or somewhere in your portfolio, right? So like the example there, the two photos next to each other, those would be tear sheets. Even this table of contents page here would be a tear sheet because it's not the cover or the back cover of the magazine. All right. So moving forward, more images that I shot here with Jasmine about maybe about a year ago as well. Maybe not. I think that was actually earlier this year, before she moved away. And on Pump Magazine, so we did like a pearl look. And this is only one look. If you notice, one look, she has the same pearl set, same makeup, same fur coat, same hairstyle. But we did do multiple looks because we changed the lighting. And each pose here is uniquely different enough that it was accepted for the magazine. And we got lucky enough to be published and be on the cover as well. So this is probably one of my favorite publications that I've done so far. I really like the blue and the red lighting together. For some reason, those images just really pop out to me. But you don't get to decide necessarily which of your photos that you submit will be on the cover or what page it'll be on. That's all up to the editor they're going to review the work. They'll decide which one is their favorite, and they're just going to send it back to you. Hey, we accepted your publication. We're going to create the tear sheets. We're going to create the cover, and we'll send it to you when it's done. When they sent it, that's what it is. There's no changes. They might ask you to make sure your name and everything is correct, because once they start putting it into print, it's a done deal from there. So always make sure you double check your spelling of your names or your social media accounts, to make sure you're getting properly credited for that. Okay, so just some more examples of tear sheets and covers. All right, so some of the don'ts. Some of the don'ts. What don't you want to do? A lot of magazines, most of them, will require that your images are exclusive. What does that mean? When creating a set of images for publication, do not post the looks on social media, including behind the scenes. So the look that you're doing, it can't be an outfit that you've worn before. It can't be something that's already been posted on social media. Maybe you have a great, amazing image. You posted it on social media. Everybody loves it. It's really cool. It's unique. Once it's there, you can't go back and resubmit it to an exclusive magazine. The magazine wants to be the first to reveal these images to the world, right? That's part of the deal. So even the behind the scenes, when you're on set and you're creating images and you're taking videos with your cell phone, you can't post that. I mean, minimal, very minimal, because you don't want to ruin the surprise of excuse me, what these images will look like prior to them being done. You got to be patient. You got to be patient. Sometimes it could take a month, 2, 3 months before the whole process is completed, from creating the images, the editing of the images, submitting them, waiting for the approval, waiting for the publication to complete the design and send it back to you. Like, it can literally take months, right? So be patient through this process. And if you do take lots of behind the scenes photos and videos and things like that, you're going to have to hold on to it, leave it in your camera roll, maybe show a couple of your friends um, personally in your phone, but don't send out too much of that, because if it gets shared, it gets posted in the magazines reviewing those images, and they see that any of that has already been leaked out onto the internet, that can disqualify you immediately from getting published. All right, so kind of what we just talked about here. The images cannot be previously posted online or social media. So unpublished work and exclusive. No one else has seen it before. Okay, so don't do those things. How to submit. So there are a few resources that, where do you go to submit? How do you find the magazines, right? What's the process like? I'm going to show you a screen share of the actual website once we go through this. But there's a few websites. My favorite one, probably the most common, the most used, I would just say the hands down the best publication website there is Caviar. Caviar.com. If you've never been on there, check it out. It's free to make an account. Just go on there and you'll be surprised. You can get really inspired by some of the images, and that's literally photographers, designers, models from all over the world, America, Europe, China, like wherever there's photography, they're posting, they're sharing their images on there. It's almost like its own social media platform, to be honest, because you don't have to publish your work in a magazine to post your work on Caviar. You may just want to post it on there just for the visibility of people in different states and countries to see your images, and go on there from time to time just to look at the creativity that others are making, and just be wowed by some of the things that are on there. And maybe you get inspired enough to try to recreate or use those images for your mood board as well. So caviar.com is definitely a must. A call for work. Call for work meaning you research magazines on your own. Maybe you have one in mind. Maybe you know a local editor, or you've seen some work on social media. You're like, oh, that's a cool magazine. You just kind of hit save on that. And those magazines that you're interested in, that you've done research on, they have calls for work, meaning they are asking those creators to put something together. Hey, we're looking for images that look like this. We're doing our winter look. We're doing our summer look. Our next issue is coming out next month. We're looking for photographers and creators to submit images for this publication. And here's our requirements, right? So they may have their own personal social media blast or an email or website that gives you a criteria of what to do for the type of images that they want for their next issue, right? So some magazines will change this per season or per theme. Halloween is coming up. I would not be surprised if there are many magazines actually looking for scary, haunted, whatever those types of images to be submitted for their magazine so that they have more content to share and post, right? So when they reach out to you, first contact, right? The third way here is the magazine or blogs that you might get a DM, you might get an email, you might get some type of communication from a publisher saying, hey, we like your work, we like your portfolio, and we would love for you to submit to our magazine. Or they sometimes, because not all images, not all publications are exclusive. Because this happened to me a few times as well. It just happened a few days ago, actually. A magazine saw an image that I shared on my Instagram, and they sent that image to my DM with a message saying, "Hey, we really like this shot. We would love to publish this in our magazine for our fall look or whatever style that they're looking for at that time." They'll say, we want to publish these images in our magazine, and then they'll ask you to submit them with a certain resolution and a certain number of images if you can do so, and they'll tell you the next steps to move forward. So because the magazine reaches out to you, don't immediately feel like, is this a scam? Like, what's really going on here? There are magazines, there are editorial editors that are constantly on the look, scouting creatives online to repost and reshare and print the images, to expand their portfolio, to expand their visibility online too. So find out the requirements and their due dates. I'm sure they're going to have some cutoff point where you need to get it done by a certain time. And when they reach out to you, and maybe you have to create a whole new set of images saying, hey, we would love for you to be in our magazine. Here's the requirements, and it's a whole new look. It's exclusive. They want something that's never been done before by you, and they want you to submit it by a certain date. Again, moving back, there might be some fees, some expenses that you have to cover for that. Maybe you have to hire the photographer. Maybe everybody's collaborating, but you have to buy props, whatever the case may be. You can now negotiate rates with that editorial editor and magazine saying, hey, what's the if I create these images and for your submission, how much are you willing to compensate my team or myself? Now you got some wiggle room to say, is this going to be, $100, a couple $100, and I'm going to go ahead and set the tone here. There's not a lot of money to be paid in editorial work, in fashion work, in magazine work. There's just not a lot of money. They don't have $1,000, $1,500, whatever the case is, to pay everyone to create to be in their magazine, right? Like I said in the beginning, majority of the time, it's all going to be free. It's all going to be free, minus some expenses. Why continue to do it? Again, for the notoriety, for the resume, for the professionalism, right? For the bragging rights. So even though they may have some type of offer on the table to negotiate paying you some rate for the magazine, don't expect too much. Don't expect it to be um, anything more than maybe $100 or $2. Okay. So just so you know ahead of time. Now, who pays who? Who pays who? This is something you're going to want to screenshot. Absolutely. Screenshot this image right now. All right. So there's a lot of details here. I'm going to go over it really quickly. When you are a new model, you are most likely going to be paying the photographer, the makeup artist, the designer, etc. This here is between photographer and model, um, but you can really replace photographer with anyone. When you're a new model, you're working with new photographers. That red line is a trade. When you're a new model, established, experienced, etc., depending on the level of the person that you're working with, it may be paid or it may be trade. Blue indicates paid, red indicates trade. Right. So take a screenshot of that, and you can kind of use this as you grow in your modeling career. When you become experienced and established, then you know you know this by now. You have several shoots under your belt. You have quality work. You know how to pose yourself. You can do it without direction. You understand lighting, right? When you get to that level, that's when you know, like, all right, I've done all this. I know what I'm doing. I'm confident. I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna do my thing, and I have more experience than the photographer does. They start reaching out to you. Hey, well, I'd love to shoot with you because they see the quality of your work. Now you can start setting your own rates and your own what's the word I'm looking for? Your own rates, right? You can start charging them. Start say, hey, you want to shoot with me? You got to pay, right? But remember, editorial work, fashion work, not commercial, but editorial and fashion is not necessarily about the model anymore. It's about the what you're wearing. You are a mannequin in this situation. You are a mannequin, and you are doing your best to represent the what you are wearing, right? It's not always about you, your face, how good you look. Sometimes in these editorial projects, you could have your whole face covered. You could have a mask on. You could be painted and looking completely different than you do on a day to day, right? So it's not about you. It's not about your looks. It's about how well you execute and how well you represent the brand, the clothing, the makeup, the hair that you have on. All right. So take yourself out of it in the sense of it's me, right? And this goes for all across the board. Many models feel like look at me, look at me, look at me. When the reality is models are hired to represent a product or a service. Okay. So hopefully you have a screenshot of that. And let me go ahead and exit out of here. I'm gonna stop this screen share, and I'm gonna show you what this Caviar website looks like. Yep, I see you writing it all down, Brittany. Good job. All right, so let me go to caviar.com. I'll show you my work and their overall page and how it works and how you find magazines, how you do the research, and how you submit to them. Before I do that, I'm going to share my screen. I want you to keep in mind that we're all adults here, all right? The creativity is all across the board. You may or may not see some nude or very sexy images from this magazine. So I just want to give you guys a forewarning on that. The creativity is endless, right? It could be fully nude, it could be fully clothed, it could be a headshot, it could be completely futuristic, right? We don't know what we're going to see. So I just want to give you that forewarning in case anyone is sensitive or gets offended for whatever reason. All right, so let me go ahead and share my screen again. While I'm doing that, let me know if you have any questions. If you need me to slow down or go over something one more time. All right, let me go ahead and share my desktop. Okay. So this is kavyar.com, kavyar.com. This is their feed. So right away, you just see like, wow, these images they're colorful, they're beautiful, they're sharp. There's models from all different ethnicities, all different body types, all different types of magazines. It's just the creativity. I can literally go on this website and just really stare at so much quality work and like just be wowed and amazed. And I might see an image that like, okay, I can get posing ideas on here. I can get makeup ideas. I can get outfit ideas. I got colors in my mind. Okay, boom, I want to recreate something like this. I might want to do some lighting with a contrast over the eyes like this image here. So what's pretty cool too on these images, I'm gonna go ahead and click on this one. Like I said, this is kind of like a social media platform. You can see like I can like this image, I can leave a comment if I want to. But what's really cool is it shows this is the makeup artist, this is the photographer, this is the magazine that this image was published in, and this is the model. So I can go on here and I can follow all of these people. So I constantly am seeing their work pop up on my feed. And I can go and check out their portfolios and from images that they constantly produce. Right. So it's pretty cool being able to see a collection of work from other photographers, other creatives, other models around the world, and just see the uniqueness, right? I can like it, I can comment, and I can follow it. You won't always see everyone that was involved in that project tagged here in the credits. Maybe they don't have an account, or maybe they're just not online like that, or whatever the case may be. But it's a great way to connect with people and be inspired and just see some just really cool things. Okay, so me back out here. And so these are the trending photos. There's all the new work that's being shared, like this one, really futuristic, Halloweenish, right? Coming up, Dias Las Muertes, right? So very cool. These are all new images that are coming out. And you can kind of just see what's going on here, some more publications, right? You can always just check out the people that you're following. But let's go ahead and click this button that says get published. So here, calls for work. You can pick a genre, many different genres, from fashion, beauty, fine art, commercial, travel, wedding, boudoir, hair, kids, fantasy, fitness. You can pick any category. So, especially this is where you know what type of model you are, where you want to be. You can get more ideas for what type of images you'll need to take or would like to take in that niche, right? So, let's go ahead and click on fashion. See what the fashion images look like. So here it says medium, print, social. I never really messed with this. Any medium, which is just means it could be a print magazine, just a social media magazine. Not all of them actually print tangible magazines for you to keep. Maybe they're just an online magazine. Maybe they're just purely digital, right? So you can get a pro account, which you pay for the year, and you'll get some extra bonuses and features in there. Right. So this is the fashion category. These are all the magazines that you could possibly submit to in the fashion category. And you can see it just kind of goes on and on and on. There's a lot of different magazines to choose from. A lot. So I mean, I'm just scrolling. I'll just go ahead and speed all my way down. Yeah, so there's at least a couple hundred, looks like maybe a hundred or two different fashion magazines that you can submit. All right, so now how do you pick? How do you know which one's for you? How do you know what's the best one you want to go to? Actually, let's go ahead and click on this image. I just happen to know this model and this photographer. This is Gloria, so that's pretty cool. She looks like she shot this in San Diego, or maybe she's from San Diego. And this is for Beauty Elite Publication. Now, let's see. There's going to give you the medium, right? This is a print magazine. They're in the fashion category. They give you dates. Here's the deadline. The next submission process needs to be done by November 15th. And there's a specific time for that. They tell you the decision date. So once you submit, they have up to 2 weeks to approve or disapprove of your images, right? They tell you the date that it's going to be published and no exclusivity required. So that tells me that even if the images have been online before, I posted them on Instagram or Facebook, etc., I can still submit my images even though I've already put them out there to the world. So not all magazines are exclusive, and here's a perfect example of that. Image requirements: 1 to 10 images, JPEG format, and some of this you won't really know. The photographer will know what this means, what size it needs to be. So there's some general information. You can just show this to your photographer and say, hey, this is what they're looking for, and we need to make sure that we have this. All right, so there's some guidelines here. You guys can review through that when you need to. But over here to the right, here we go. Standard submission. It's free. Your submission will be reviewed in the order it was received. And it takes about 14 days. They may approve, they may not, right? Priority review. 1 to 72 hours for them to put yours at the top of the list if you are approved or not. $6, non-refundable. Right, so here's where you start entering into some fees. If you don't want to wait that long, speed up the process, pay $6 and see if you get published or not very quickly. Now it starts going up from there. $20, $200. This, let's go ahead into the $200 one. You're going to get a front cover and a back cover if accepted. It also says not refundable, which is interesting. Let's go ahead and click on that. Let's see what it says. Because normally it'll say refunded if you're not approved, but looks like this one here, they're just taking the money, regardless if you're approved or not. Let's go ahead and look deeper into that. 1 to 10 images, etc., etc. Required info. You need to have a title for your shoot. You need to have a title. So name the project, maybe a statement, something you want to say about it, that you own the copyright to the images. So it'll likely be the photographer that owns the copyright. Let's see. Yep, that's it. You want to be on the cover of this magazine? You got two choices here. You can submit for free, wait 14 days, and maybe you'll get the cover. Or you can go immediately to, I'm just going to pay $200. I want that cover. It's mine. Here we go. All right. So you got some options there. And that's what I was talking about earlier is it could be a pay to play, or it can be just earn your keep and stay at the top. Now, how do you decide on which magazine you want to apply to? What I like to look at is I want something that's kind of difficult to get in. Like not everybody can just submit photos and publish. Everybody who submits is published. Like I want something that's a little bit more exclusive for me, that's like impressive, right? I want something that's not everybody can do this. And that really kind of shows that the quality of images or the creativity was something that I produced was at a high level. If this magazine approved it and it's hard to get into, it's like a college, right? You want that Ivy League college and you want that full scholarship. You want to go straight to the NFL after high school, right? You need to be the best of the best in order to do that. So I like to go for those. And maybe you're like me, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look down here, see if I can zoom in a little bit. Uh, let's see, proficient 7K. I think, let me zoom out here. It tells you, yeah, here we go. Hey, see, 89% of people who submit are accepted, 92% overall. So I don't want that one. Like 90% of people who submit get approved. I want something a little bit more challenging. Then you can kind of tell by the images that they have on the cover if it looks like very cool, very unique. This one looks kind of cool. Let's see if that one's a little harder. Boom. See, I already knew. Just looking at these images, the way that it is, 16% of people who submit are accepted. That's where I want. I want L'Amour magazine to submit my photos to because I know can't everybody do that. You know, and that gives you a little bit more bragging right. It gives you a little bit more um, professionalism on your resume to be like, I did something that most people can't do. All right. So that's what I want. Let's see what that submission process is like, what their fees are. All right. So I can submit for free, 14-day turnaround. Priority review. Because I have a pro account, I pay by the year, and I forget what that yearly fee is right now, but maybe we can look that up or you can do the research on your time. You're going to, I get priority review 48 hours. They're going to tell me yes or no. 12-hour response, $6. If I want an article written about me, not just my images, but I want them to actually write an article about me or the images that I submitted, $16, between 2 to 4 pages max. So that's pretty cool. I could pay $16, possibly get published in this exclusive, hard to get into magazine, and they wrote 4 pages about me. Come on. You know that's what I want to do. But I want the cover. I'm always shooting for the cover. That's what I want. Let's see, how do we do that? Let's go straight to the priority response. I get an interview. See how I speak in things like it's already done. This is what I get. Like I'm just assuming in my mind this is already done. That's a little side note for those who want to work on their mindset. Like, oh, maybe I'll try and get it. It's already done. This is what I'm going to get. Right. That's how I speak and that's how I manifest and create things into my life. Right. So what does it say here? Interview. I get an interview. I get the front cover. I get the back cover. I get a free digital copy of the magazine and up to 10 inside pages. So I'm just all through there. I'm the whole magazine. I don't know how many pages are going to be in this magazine when it's all said and done. But not only did I get the front, I got the back, and I got 10 pages on the inside, and they got an interview. They probably put my smiling face on there saying Christopher Pollard in big letters saying this is the man. Right. So that's what I'm going for. And if I want to do that, $60. And see here at the bottom, unlike that other magazine, $200, it just said non-refundable. I could pay $60, get all of this, if for whatever reason that they do not accept my images, refunded if rejected. All right. So I really hope that this helps give you some insight on how to get published. Um, there was some more information here. Yeah, it's kind of repeating the same things as I mentioned earlier. Yeah, so that's what I look for. This is the website I go on. This is my account. If I go to my profile, you can see some of the images I've had published already in the past. and some images that I've just posted on here just for visibility and different things of that nature. People liking it. I have, I guess, 102 notifications that I can click on here. And the people that I've collaborated with, it shows all of that. All right. So that's Caviar Magazine. Let me go ahead and see if there's any questions here. I'm going to stop my screen share. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Nothing wrong with showing some skin. That's part of the game. We're in the modeling world. There's going to be some skin being shown at some point, right? So that is a lot of information. Let me go ahead and move forward through this couple more slides just to show you guys one or two more things. All right, so let me go ahead and share my screen one more time back to the presentation. Hopefully you guys got a screenshot of this, who pays who. All right, make that nice and big. All right, so as I mentioned earlier, a lot of this information about starting a modeling career, some of the words you mentioned today, like tear sheet, um, and all the publication, that there's words that you need to know that as a model that's going to be tossed around and thrown in the mix, especially the more advanced you get into your career and the more people that are around you talking about these different scenarios. You want to know, you want to understand the lingo. So I have a words to know document. There's 3 pages there, words you should know as a model. I have my agency checklist of everything you need to know to get started to submit to agencies, and even a page there full of agencies that that are I'm going to say recommended, but they are credible, right? But some things may change. Agencies change. They get better reviews. They get worse reviews. So do your research on those agencies too. But I already created a list of agencies and everything that you should do to submit to them, the words to know, and I have my modeling secrets ebook. All of this is available for just $10. If you don't have a copy of that, make sure you do get you one. The sacramentophotographer.com/book, and everything you see on the screen right here is yours. One last thing is I currently am coaching models personally to help them walk through this process, find their path, get to the next level, and get signed, right? So 3 months. I'm offering 3 months of personal coaching, right? Just like this on Zoom, me and you, all your questions answered, and holding you accountable for finding your path and actually doing something about it. The most common, the most common thing I've gotten back the feedback, why aren't you where you want to be at yet? It came down to lack of confidence, lack of knowledge, and lack of accountability. Those are the 3 things that we're going to work on the most once you join my coaching program. All right. So it's $150 or 3 payments of 50. It's a $500 value, and it's only for the next 5 models. Why? Because I want people who are serious. I want people who are serious about taking their career to the next level. And if I'm going to work with you and we're going to have these conversations, we're going to spend time together, then I want to know that you're willing to invest in yourself and you're willing to do what's necessary to get you there, right? It's going to be challenging. And I'm going to go ahead and caveat that with, this is not a guarantee that you will get signed at the end of these 3 months, but it is a guarantee that your confidence, your knowledge, and your accountability will skyrocket through the roof, right? Because we're going to tap into that mindset. We're going to tap into the how to, the foundation, and we're actually going to submit together and go through the process so that you are not alone, that you can be prepped and prepared all the way down to agency interviews and what you need to know to hopefully persuade them to get that yes answer, right? If we got to go through rejections, then we'll go through rejections too, and we'll figure that out, figure out what needs to be done and what can be better and what you need to improve on, right? But I'm here with you every step of the way. So this offer expires at midnight tonight. Like I said, I only want the serious people. I can't take on everyone at once. I'm already coaching 3, and I can't do it all, right? Can't do it all, but I want to do as much as I can. Right. So this offer expires at midnight. It's $150. You can pay it all at once, or you can make the $50 per month process, cancel anytime. And you know, 1 month goes by, 2 months, you're like, you know what? I'm switching lanes. Life took me a different direction. I'm going to go ahead and stop this. That's okay too, right? But with the photographer.com/coach, the sacramentophotographer.com/coach. You go on that website right now, you'll pull up, lock in, and we'll continue to do this one-on-one together. Okay, so let me go back to the chat box. Let's go to the chat box and see what's going on here. All right, Brittany says, can you send me last week's video and would like to sign up for the coaching? Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I will be creating a link for that very shortly, putting some final touches on the editing of that. And I'll send you a link so that you can rewatch that in case you missed it or you want to watch it again. But yeah, sign up for the coaching. Let's get you involved. Let's get you started and figure out a pathway for you and figure out what holes that need to be filled in. All right. I've already submitted to 5 agencies. That's awesome. That's awesome. You already submitted to 5 agencies. So it's just about building that portfolio while you wait, following up with them, right? So we'll talk a lot about that throughout the coaching. Anna says, I would like to sign up for the coaching. Could you also send me links 1 to 3? What do you mean by that? Which links are you referring to, 1 through 3? Let me go ahead and type the link in there. That way you guys can click on it. SacramentoPhotographer.com/coach. All right, go ahead and submit that in the chat box. That way you guys can get instant access to it. Oh, yeah, you want the other videos from the previous Model Mondays. Yeah. Okay, so both you guys, I'll make sure you guys get copies of the previous Model Mondays that you missed from the Get Signed challenge. That's no problem. And both of you want to go ahead and get started with the coaching, then yeah, let's lock in. Let's do that. Then we'll put a schedule together and make sure that we're filling in those holes and we're seeing what's the missing element specifically for you. And there's going to be a lot of other bonuses I don't want to go too much into, but I'm actually have to make a phone call to a model in Thailand as soon as this Zoom call is over. I think they're like 15 hours or something like that, difference between here and there. So it's 8:30 our time. I think she said it's going to be like maybe it's like a 20, I don't know how many hours it is, but I think it's gonna be like 6 or 7:30 a.m. for her. So I've been creating a podcast, creating a video series, interviewing professional and expert models that are just doing their thing, and giving that insight to share with you as well. So I'm very excited about that as well. Look out for that being dropped here soon. And yeah, if there's no other questions, sacramentophotographer.com/coach. By the way, you sign up for the coaching program. Let me go ahead and throw that agency checklist, words to know, and ebook in there for you too as a little bonus. Okay. So I look forward to seeing you next week, every Monday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I will be here creating another lesson and going over the steps that you need to get to the next level or start your modeling career. Appreciate your time. Look forward to working with you, and y'all have a great night.